Swim check 1, 2. Bike check 1, 2. Run check 1, 2. I think we're ready. Let's try this. Welcome to the Try Beginner's Luck podcast, a podcast where we explore the sport of triathlon from a variety of perspectives to help beginner triathletes on their journey. I am your host, Mashonda Shines. Well, welcome back to another edition of Try Beginner's Luck. We are at the end of March as we've been celebrating Women's History Month, which for some reason this year, I don't think I put an emphasis on it, but we have been. And I'm just so grateful that we are able to just celebrate and honor women. This past weekend in the Washington, D.C. area, I had an opportunity to do a really cool thing with Pacers Run Group. We did a women's 5K. And then the weekend before that, they honored all of the Pacers leaders, and we went and made perfumes. Now, listen, I am a scent girl, and that was one of the best things and activities that we could have done, especially when we as women are often, especially those of us who are athletes, are sweaty a lot of the times, and we seem to be going and hustling and bustling. And to have a fragrance to put on to kind of freshen the day is always welcomed. So happens Women's History Month to all of you who are listening. And guys, y'all be all right. Well, today I have a guest who I've been tracking on social media for a while. I reached out to her when she was coached by a pretty well-known Ironman World Champion, and was like, wow, you're hitting the scene. Where did you come from? Who is this brown girl? I am here for it. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about her. She's a mom, she's a model, and she's a musician. 3 M's right there. Mom, musician, model. But she loves the tri life. And although she's very new to the tri life, she began her triathlon career in 2021, but was introduced to triathlon in, I think, 2017, when she was invited to come out to Kona to watch the World Championships. Now, if your friend invites you to Kona to see them try and do an Ironman, there's no way you can't be bitten by the bug. And so that's what happened. We'll find out all about her journey and what it took, because like most women, especially African-American women, she had to learn how to swim. But that has not stopped her athletic prowess. Now, you would think everybody comes in with different athletic abilities. But when I tell you she's hit the ground and has skirted to the top of the podiums. Can you really skirt to the top of the podiums? Well, today she did, and that's how I'm leaving it. With that said, I get to welcome to the Try Beginners podcast, Miss Latifah Lowery. And if you follow her on social media, it's TriFoxx. Welcome to the Try Beginners Luck podcast. How you doing today?
I am well, thank you. That was such a great introduction. I'm over here blushing. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so nice. Thank you so much. That was a great welcome. I feel welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You should. And I mean, you guys can tell she's gorgeous. So the TriFoxx, where does the Fox part come in? Because when I was doing some research, I saw the music was like Foxy this. So tell us about that part of your life.
Well, that's where the Fox comes from, the actual music part of my life. Basically, I've done every type of music. I started out doing music recordings and creating albums and things like that. And then I eventually got into live music. And the band that I started playing with, we played 60s, 70s rock. So therefore it was I basically got the name Foxy, And so when I got into I put that together and I was like, TriFoxx. So yeah, that's pretty much where that came from.
I love it. And by chance, because you were playing 60s and 70s music, did you get the Foxy name after Foxy Brown?
No, it's just Foxy because that was a name, like that, not name. That was kind of a saying, Foxy. Jimi Hendrix, the song Foxy. That song was where I was like, oh, Foxy. I love that. That's me. So that's where it came from.
So as Janet says, don't call me, well, so we're going to call her Miss Foxy, Miss TriFoxx. That's her name. Okay, there it is. Well,
Nice,
that's
nice.
good to know that you are multi-dimensional, as they call it these days, multi-hyphenate. So, how has music helped you in the tri space?
I'm not sure how to answer that one. Let's see. I would say rhythm. Um, because mainly with swimming, when I learned to swim, they always tell you, you need a rhythm. You gotta keep the rhythm and everything has to flow nicely. And I guess having the music background, I had the rhythm to to be able to keep a rhythm because it's hard. You have to use a metronome sometimes, even in running, bike cadence, all these things have to do with rhythm. And I would say that's really the only thing I could think of off the, top of my head, how music, helped me with try. So
I totally agree with that. I think when you're thinking about a metrodome and it's in the background just ticking and helps to
yeah,
keep your cadence. They have a metrodome even on if you use Garmin or
yes,
whatever
I do.
smartwatch you use, there's a metrodome to help you keep pace. I can totally see that. And I do believe keeping the rhythm, or if you're needing to double your cadence, that syncopated time and, making that transition. So, okay, okay. Do you get to participate with music as much since you have been trying?
Not really. I don't do it often, especially live band, like band stuff. I really don't go there. Every now and then I'll pull out my computer and get on like the basic garage band if I have a thought, or if I just feel like being creative, I'll hop on and create a song. I'll pull a beat from somewhere and just sing on it or do whatever and then just have it there. Like, don't go to the next step as far as editing and all these things, but just get that out just so I can jump back into it because it is something that I love to do. I really love music. Always have.
Okay. I love that you love music. So that's going to make the end when we do rapid fire very interesting.
Oh God. I
It's
don't want
going
to
to make
mess
it
it up.
interesting. Well, let's get right into your story. I mean, you go to watch a friend at Kona,
Mhm.
and that changed your life. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, it did change my life. So basically she has a charity and it's called Freedom to Live. And so we were there to support her charity. Her name is Sean Welch. She's a former pro as well. So we went there and we flew to Kona. And immediately when I got there, I saw all these fit people and they're just all walking around and everyone just looks happy and strong and bikinis and sneakers. And I'm like, what in the world is this? Like, this is amazing. But I felt like I belonged there because I was always an athletically built person. Like I just always looked that like I was strong. I had a strong build, although it wasn't trained. I just felt like I looked like everyone. And I was like, wow, I could do this. But then the swim thing came and I'm like, oh, they're crazy. They're swimming in the ocean. Oh, wow. Okay. These are crazy. So, I thought about it and after talking to Sean a bit about it, and I was like, think I could try it, maybe I'll try it one day. And that was pretty much it. But it was just a gorgeous experience. And of course, I don't know if you've been to Kona, but it's it's like magical there. Like there's just like an energy in the air or something, but it's just, I just love how it felt there. And so I felt like it was something special and something that I thought maybe it was like a sign, like maybe I should try this. So yeah.
I can only imagine how magical it is based off of the stories that I've been told. So, no,
Yeah.
I have not had an opportunity to go to Kona yet, but I have heard how beautiful it is. And I can see how the energy is very lively there because people are there to, one, race the biggest race of their life for some people, especially the age groupers. And, it's like they're excited, they're happy to be there. You got vendors there that are probably putting out all the red carpets for everybody and all the latest technology, getting to try those things. So I can see how the environment is electrifying and it gives you the adrenaline rush to be like, oh my gosh, I want to do this too.
Yes.
I can see that. But you didn't come straight back home and try. You gave it a few years. What was that time like in between? Why didn't you go if you were so excited and just get right into it?
Okay. So the biggest thing was I didn't have the follow through. So that's one of the things that triathlon has taught me. And I mean, I usually get into that part later when someone asks me what has triathlon taught me, but it taught me to follow through. And I didn't have that at that time. And at that time also I was doing music and I felt like I was going to be a musician and that was my career and that's what I wanted to do. And triathlon was getting in the way of that. If I would have done it, if I would have, maybe I'd go on a run and I said, oh man, a mile is hard. Like, I don't want to do this. This is, I mean, I was really naive when I was in Kona. Like I had no idea what it was really like. So I think that was why it took me a couple years. I just didn't have the follow through and the dedication to that particular thing. I had all my focus in music.
Let's take a moment of silence for follow through because that's a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge.
And I think sometimes people don't realize the follow through it takes to do this sport. And also so there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can come in this sport and be a one hit wonder in all the distances and not do it again. That's
Yeah,
easy.
it
What is
is.
challenging is doing it over and over again, constantly improving, constantly following through. That to me is more challenging. So for people who can kind of come one and done, thank you, ma'am, and out, good. Congratulations to you. But the people who come in year after year, who
Yes,
don't give up and who are constantly following through, that's a whole different level of persistence.
it's hard.
I want you to go a little bit deeper into that follow through and how that has transformed your journey because you didn't start in 2017, you started in 2021. That's a couple of years,
Mhm.
including a COVID year.
Yes.
And when you started shortly, and I could be wrong because we didn't talk about this, but if you started and you did your first triathlon a year to the date of your first child being born, you had to be training shortly thereafter delivering.
Yep.
And that's a
That's
different mindset,
right.
and you have less time to train. So, can you tell me a little bit about what that follow through was like? Because for you to do your first race a year to the date of the birth of your child, that's a different level of follow through commitment right there.
Oh, thank you. So what I did was I shortly before I realized that I was with child, I decided I wanted to do a triathlon. But then I found out I was with child. So I had to put that at a halt and I was like, okay, when I have him, I'm going to start training again. So that whole 9 months of pregnancy, I'm thinking like, I gotta do this triathlon thing. I gotta do this triathlon thing. Like, so that was a big deal for me. So when I had him, I was like, okay, I made this goal literally after I had him. And I said, before he turns 1, I'm going to do my first triathlon. And literally the day before he turned 1, I did my first triathlon, which was a sprint. And so the follow through within that was really based off the goal I had after I had my son. And I'm going to say that having him actually helped my follow through as well. I think that having him made me want to do more, combined with, like, it just made my goal setting like set in stone. Like it made it permanent, like it made it real. It made it to where I wasn't jumping into 5 different things at one time. It was like, I'm going to do this goal and it's going to stick. And I don't know what kind of psychological things happened with me having a son, but he helped as well. It wasn't just a triathlon. It was having a son as well. And I breastfed him till he was 3. So therefore I breastfed for my first, what, 2 3 years, 2.5 3 years of triathlon. So it's it was a lot, but the challenge somehow pulled me in and drew me in more. It was like the more challenge I had, the more I wanted to overcome it. Like it was just something, I guess, that's in the psychology, and I don't know what happened there.
Mm.
Chemical chemical imbalance. I don't know what it was. I don't know, but something happened. Okay. And as I did more and more triathlon, it got stronger and stronger. And it's to this day, it's getting stronger. I can just focus so much more than ever in my life. So yeah. I know I'm getting off of that little part, that first triathlon part. So I'm gonna stop there.
No, but so now my question is, it's a reverse question because I asked about music to triathlon, but do you still get to do music now because of triathlon? Because now it's like a flip.
No, I don't. I just, like I said, I pull out my computer when I can
Okay.
and do a little singing. But what I have started doing is I've started doing like content. And within that, I get to play around with music because I get to like chew, and in the future I'm going to add more to that. There's a whole thing that I'm doing in the future with my music, with my content. Like it's just, but it's not, I'm not there yet. Right now I'm at this point where I'm making the content and I get to play with music. And when you do content, you need the music to match the beat and all these things. So I'm combining all of that and creating more content with that. So I feel like that's pulling me into my creative side. Even though it's not exact, it's still dealing with creativity and the music.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. We both digress. So let's go back to your first. So training for your first triathlon, right after you had your son, what was that like for you?
The training was the training was challenging. Again, I can say that it was kind of like starting over again. I did a lot of long stuff, long and slow, and I'm still, pretty much learning how to swim. It was a, I was at a very late starting. I was pretty much at a starting point, and so I had to pick up something new and just keep striving for it. And it was time consuming. My mom was there for me though, thanks to my mom. If my mom wasn't here, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So she has been the biggest part. And she believed in what I was doing. I told her, we talked about it, and she thought I was crazy. She still thinks I'm crazy, especially for jumping in the ocean. But it was just it was one of those things where it took the village to do it. And it took a lot of emotions, and it was very emotional for me. And when I did that first one, everyone was very emotional when I crossed the finish line because of all it took and all the sacrifices. And me kind of wanting, not kind of, me wanting to be with him more. At that time, I wasn't training as much as I am now. So I had a lot of time with him, but I think it was just challenging, and like I said, it took the village.
So let's talk about that because there are other moms, especially new moms who listen to this podcast and or people who might be in the same situation as you. And you said coming across the finish line was so emotional because you had to go through, you had to overcome so much to get to that finish line. And so I think that's kind of what I want to learn about. Like, okay, you're at your first triathlon and as you're getting in the water for the first time, not knowing how to swim, and jumping in for the first time, what's going through your mind?
It was super scary. It was 40 degrees. This is Florida, 40 degrees. It was cold. My partner, he's like, you're not doing this triathlon if it's 40 degrees. And I'm like, this is the night before. And I'm like, I'm doing this triathlon if it's 40 degrees. I don't care what degrees it is. But anyways, naive again. Get out there, wetsuit legal. I have my wetsuit on. He fills this big tank up full of water because he's been around triathlon before. He pours it into my suit. He's like, you should pee in your suit and do all this stuff. We're going to make it warm in there and all this. And I'm like, this is crazy. Okay. So anyways, I'm standing there and I'm like, wow, I'm going to do this. I get in the water and I'm like freaking out. Like, slow in my mind, I'm like, slow, make it to the finish, because at that time I still had like a deep fear of, what if I don't make it to the end? So it was basically the rhythm there, keep the rhythm, keep the rhythm and get through. And got out, and I got out of the water. I made it out of the water. And that's pretty much what I was thinking. Just make it out of the water. Speed doesn't matter in this part. When you get on the bike, you're fine.
So you made it out of the water, you headed to T1. What's now going through your mind?
I made it out of the water. That's it. I'm like, oh my God, I made it out of the water. Like, this is crazy. Okay. Then I run to the bike and I'm like, okay, the bike is my thing. I love the bike. Let's go. It's so cold. I take off my wetsuit. My hands are frozen. I got gloves, jackets, everything. I'm putting on layers. Like, this is a sprint triathlon. You're supposed to keep rolling. Like, but I'm literally putting on everything I can to stay warm. So I put on all my stuff. I get on the bike and take off and do the bike ride. Feet frozen, the whole bike ride.
Now, before we get into the bike, I want to ask you, back up a little bit. Have you always been a cyclist?
No, but I've cycled longer than anything because I pretty much was introduced to biking a little bit before anything else. And I biked my whole life as a kid. Like, I just always had a bike. Every Christmas I got a bicycle. Okay. And so I got a bike, like a real clip-in bike, a little bit before everything else. Before I learned how to swim, all that, I got into it. It was like less than 10-mile bike rides, but I was into it. So.
Okay. So you're in T2, you've put on all these clothes, the gloves, the shoes, your feet are frozen and you're on the bike. Now, how are you cycling with frozen feet? Because I don't know about you, but when my feet are cold, it's a wrap. So how are you cycling through that?
Excuse me. So for me, cycling is something that comes kind of natural. I don't really use my feet. I really don't use my feet. I kind of use my hips, and they're like levers. So I don't really cycle with my feet. Although they're frozen, I feel it. I don't want frozen feet. I hate it. I just got through it, to be honest. I really just got through it because I was so determined to finish. I didn't care. Like, I was determined to get through this race. It didn't matter how long it took, whatever it may be. I was just really determined to get it done.
So determination is driving you. You're on the bike. That's your comfort zone. You're heading back to T2. What is that like as you transition? Again, I'm fixated on the feet because you got to go to the run.
Story. The hands too. This is the story of the whole race, right? I was waiting on you to get to this part. So So I got full blown shoestrings in my shoes, right? And they're tight. Like I didn't loosen them up. I didn't know any, it's my first one. I don't know to not have shoestrings that I gotta actually tie. My fingers are frozen. I'm sitting in T2 looking down, stuck, and trying to put my shoes on. I literally was in T2 for like 5 minutes trying to tie my shoestrings because my fingers were like this. And I got shoestrings and I'm trying to tie them and I can't tie them. So there's T2, the fight to get my shoes on to go run. Like, yeah, that's T2.
Yeah, 5 minute T2 for a sprint. That's a little different.
Oh, yeah. It might have even been longer than that. I should go look at the results.
Wow. But we're here. You made it out of T2. You're at the run.
Feet are still frozen. I feel like I'm stepping on glass as I run, but it was nice. It was a good feeling. I'm like, I'm almost there. Like the finish line is it's right there. Like I made it. Like I feel like I made it. This is hard, but I made it. Like that was my feeling there.
So you finished, and this is where you're overcome with joy.
Oh my gosh.
Tell us about those feelings.
It was like the most accomplishing thing in my life. I know my son is a big accomplishment, but it was just something it changed everything in me. It made me that I think that's a big part. Like I spoke of following through earlier, and that was just something that made me see the results of following through.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it was one of the biggest things I've ever done because it took so long to get there. I've done things where it didn't take so long to get there. It's kind of a quick turnover. This took a while, and from there I was hooked. Like my heart was just like fluttering. I was crying. My family was crying. We were all crying. It was just crazy. Even though I didn't do very well, I did it. And it was just, we didn't know if we'd ever do it. We didn't know if we'd ever even get there. So it was crazy. It was just amazing.
All right.
I could,
I love it. I can feel it. I can feel the excitement even, through the screen
oh
of
my
that
God.
first race. But I wonder, you said that you were hooked, there was flutters in your heart. So when was the second triathlon and when did you know that, oh, I could actually be good at this?
What was my second try? To be honest, I don't even know. That's bad. That's really bad. I don't know what my second one was, but what was the next question after what was my second?
So when did you know that you could be good at this?
Um,
Because you just started in 2021. So this is what, 25? So this
I'm
is
gonna I'm gonna say when I started working with Michellie. I think I may have won a couple like small like sprint races with like local races.
mhm.
And when I started getting on podiums on those, I I thought that I still naive. I've been naive this whole a long time in this sport. Like I just had just not knowing like and I just I want to put it like this. I didn't know if my goals were in reach, but I wanted my goals to be in reach. So, and I had always had this thing of believing in things and believing in achieving. I know everybody says that a lot, but it's just always been a thing for me. And so being naive, I was like, I think naivety helped me a lot through this because I set these big goals. I set these paces I wanted to go. I set all these things and I'm saying, I got it written down on my walls and I'm like, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. And then I get there and I'm like, I don't know where I can go. I don't know where my limit is. I'm new, like I haven't been doing sport my whole life. I have no mileage, which people told me a lot. I don't know where I cap out. I don't know. So with me not knowing where that is, I just keep till now, I still do it. I keep setting new goals, like new paces, and then I go for it. I train for it. and even if I train for it and I don't make it, then I keep going, and eventually I keep hitting these milestones and these goals, and I still don't know where I can go. Um I'm still going for the next one. Like, right, there's always another goal for me, and I haven't stopped it yet because I keep seeing increases in performance. Like, I haven't reached my peak yet.
And for those of you who might not know, Michellie Jones is a world champion Ironman athlete out of Australia. And she's a coach. How did you even know to connect with Michellie to be a coach if you're so new?
Sean, which is who we went to Kona with. I reached out to her and I said, Sean, I'm ready to go to the next level. I think I want to be an Olympic, you know, triathlete. I think I want to try the Olympic distance. I've been doing sprints. I want to try Olympic distance. She said, I have the perfect person for you. And she gives me her info. And that's how I met Michellie.
It makes sense now. Okay, I want to press pause here. If you have friends in this sport, this is a prime example of connecting the dots, closing the triangle, and really having your friends connect you so that you can be successful in this sport. You don't
Yes.
have to be alone in this sport. And Sean had a simple invitation: come watch me. Support is an active, it's an action verb. And with Latifah going out to Kona, I mean, I hope they're really good friends, because to go out to Kona to support someone, that's a lot. And it's a big race, but you never know what can happen when someone comes. It's like you're planting a seed. And now to see Latifah, which we haven't even gotten or scratched the surface of some of her accomplishments yet, which we will get to, but you just never know how she thought music was going to be her way, which music still could be. But triathlon is writing her a ticket that she wouldn't have never explored had she not gone to support her friend. And seeing all the active people around, you know, that's a good way to be motivated to get healthy, is being around other people who are healthy and staying healthy, because you don't want to be that person that's like not. But
Right.
okay, I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, back to what matters, back to our regular scheduled programming. So Michellie Jones becomes your coach. You want to try the Olympic distance. And all I remember seeing is you and Michellie on the podium together. And I was like, whoa, whoa, how is this? Okay, I'll let you continue on.
Well, we started training and she came and did some hands-on things with me. And I told her my goals. She told me where she thought that I could get to. And, you know, I said, let's go. We did a lot of training. I stuck to the program. We got on Training Peaks, all these things. We did all the things that, most coaches do. And following the plan and being consistent, I started reaching those goals. And eventually I did that Olympic distance. And it was the first one was at nationals. It was in, I don't know if we were in Texas or Milwaukee. I'm not sure. Actually it was Milwaukee. I think it was Milwaukee, because Texas, I think, was the multi-sport festival. But it was nationals, Olympic and sprint nationals. And I did it, got through it. And yeah, that's how I think it happened. We just did the work. She gave me the what I needed to reach the goals, and I reached them.
Now, did you place at nationals?
Nationals, no, I didn't. It was really slow because I wanted to finish. That's one of my things. Like, the first time I do something, I want to finish. Like, and so I didn't really, my bike was kind of a leisure bike ride, because I wanted to be able to do that 10K that I had never done off of the bike. I wanted to do the 25 mile or 40K bike ride that I had never done in a race. So I was a little afraid. So yeah, no, I didn't place, but
And so you picked nationals to do all this leisure activity?
yes, right. I know, right? Crazy. Well, and you know what? The reason why was because it was sprint and Olympic. So I thought, why not do the sprint? The Olympic because I'm doing the sprint. And so the crazy thing about that story is I went and did the Olympic, and then the next day was the sprint. And during the sprint, I had a bike mechanical, and I got my first DNF. So that was the story there.
Mm,
Really my only DNF, knock on wood. But yeah,
wow.
yeah. And I was so excited because I'm like, I did that performance on that Olympic. Tomorrow's my day. So it's like, and then that happened. So triathlon, you never know, right?
You really never know. And yeah, you really never know. So you did the Olympic. The next day you did the sprint, got the mechanical. And then what shifted in your mind as you went back to continue exploring? Because when was it that you made worlds for the super sprint, World Triathlon Organization super sprint? Because that's where you placed third,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
That was, I think, a few months before then, the same year,
Mm-hmm.
because that year we did both. We went to Milwaukee and we went to Texas. And I think Texas was first, and would have been the multi-sport. So that was then.
Okay. But there's this
Yeah.
blue uniform with USA on it with the World Triathlon Organization. Where was
Well,
that?
that was nowhere. That's just a uniform that I have. My Team USA uniform is actually red. It's the red, white, and blue one. That one was just one that I made just to have because it was a goal that I wanted to reach. I wanted to be, it's kind of like a vision board type of thing. Yeah. So
So you made that with AI?
no, not with AI. No, no, no. I actually have the outfit.
That
Yeah.
picture is so legit. Like,
No, no,
it's
no.
like
I have
she's
it.
this professional athlete out here going to
Yes.
win the Olympics or something. Like,
Yeah.
it looks so legit.
Yeah. The picture was so basically I got that made. I ordered it from the, World Triathlon site and got my name put on it. Excuse me. I think my son is in there yelling, trying to get out here. But anyways, and what happened was I became a Lululemon ambassador, and the photo shoot for that, I wore it. And so those are the pictures that are in the magazine. But sorry, not actually, they're in the magazine.
Nice.
Those pictures aren't from the Lululemon ambassadorship because that was for running. I'm sorry. That was wrong. They are from Gulf Shore Life magazine, and they featured me in their magazine, and there was where I took the pictures for it. So that's what that picture's from that magazine.
I was like, who is this out here on the world stage? Again, social media will have you making your life seem like great.
Oh yeah.
Not that your
Oh
life
yeah.
isn't like this, but
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Okay,
It's
so let's talk about it
yeah.
because what I do know is that you have been sharing that you want to go pro.
Yes.
So that's an aspiration. But what I know based off of your past accomplishments, you technically could have already gone pro.
Yes. For the last 2 years.
So for the last 2 years, you could have gone pro, but you didn't.
No.
Talk about that.
I could have gone pro. I didn't go pro because I don't feel like I'm ready to go pro. Also, going pro at this time takes a lot of logistics. So pros can't race just any race. Yeah, you can. But to actually go and compete in a race, you need to race pro races because there's a lot of these like series and things like that now. And so if I was to go pro before, it would be as if I had to do a lot of travel and a lot of things that we weren't ready for as a family. Just a lot. So I can't just get on the pro level and look at the list and say, okay, I'm going to go to this race, this race, this race, and this race, but we got to go to here, 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 and here, all over the place. I can't just race Florida races. You know, I can't stay local like I can now. And also just the competitive nature. I'm a competitive person. I love being competitive. If I was to go pro, there's no way I was ready or am I ready to go compete against the pro level women. There's a certain, on my wall, there's a certain goal that I know that I got to reach before I say, I'm going to accept this pro card. I'm not going to accept it until I know that I can run this pace. Or I know that I can swim this pace because I just love being competitive. And why step out of age group when right now I am just scraping the top of the age group level, you know, like just getting to the top of that. So that's why I haven't gone pro yet.
That's wisdom. It's a lot of wisdom in that. What distance would you be going pro at? Because I know you do super sprints, you've done an Olympic, and I believe you've done the half distance. So when going pro, and maybe you're educating me and the audience, is there pros for different levels? Because a lot of times when we think of pro, we think of those who are pro with the iron distance. But is there a pro in the circuits? Well, I guess so. They're the elite pro in the World Triathlon Organization, where you can do the circuits of doing worlds. So which avenue would you be going or interested in if you were to become pro?
So this year is kind of a trial year for me. This year I'm racing sprint, I'm racing Olympic, and I'm racing 70.3. This year I am looking into my paces. Let's see where I am. It's to see where I'm at and all paces. And then we decide this next year when I do turn pro. So I'll be like, okay, well, I think we're leaning towards this. Not that I won't ever end up being a full distance pro. It's just that this time I am testing out 70.3 Olympic and sprint. We think it's going to be 70.3, like longer course. But as you see, the girls hop around now. They hop around and jump in the races that I guess they feel they can be competitive in, or what helps them financially, whatever the case may be. There's lots of room to jump around. So I don't know 100% yet, but I'm leaning more towards the 70.3, but I am a great sprinting type of person, but their speeds are just so fast in the swim. It's a lot of thinking I have to do this year to figure it out completely, 100%.
Okay. I love that. Because it would be good to see more representation on the pro circuit. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because I'm not a recruiter by any means, but I do see that there are some really good athletes of color who I know could do very well in the tri space if they were introduced to the triathlon space. And so my question to you as a Black woman, what is it like for you to try to compete at this level? And what are ways that people, if they could support you on your journey?
For me, it's life-changing. It's very special. There are times when you think about why you're doing it. What's your why? You know, a lot of people speak of that. What's your why? What's your why? Um, and although it doesn't seem as impactful to me directly, I realize like how much I can influence others Say for instance, in races now, most races that I'm doing, the shorter course ones, I bring my friends out. I create relay teams with people that I know, my friends' daughters, sons, anyone I can get to come out to do something at the race, I'm introducing them to it. And just to see their faces after they do something that they don't do. Like I write them little plans and I do all these things for them, and they come out and they run and they do the run portion or they do whatever portion they're there for. And when they get done, they're so amazed that they have the same feeling that I had when I started. So I just, I don't know. In doing this, I just feel like it's very impactful to others. And I just know that one day someone's going to be at the top of that podium, even if it's not me. But if I can be the light to the fire, if I can help be the light to the fire to get that person on the podium, it's going to be amazing. Because we do need representation on the podium. Any race you're watching, the Pro Series, T100, Ironman Pro Series, whatever it may be, there is no there's no brown skin on it. And that was one of the things I noticed also when I first got into this, how it wasn't any, African Americans in the sport at all. I go to races and I'd be like the only person. I'm like, this is crazy. Nobody's doing this. And I know why. I mean, there's different variables on why, but I don't know. It means a lot. I know it does. I know I'm kind of like, I'm going to start rambling, so I'm going to stop right there. But yeah, I'm going to stop right there and let you ask me another question so I can get back on topic.
No, it happens like that. Like I totally
Yeah,
get
I
it.
know. You kind of lose it because there's so much I want to say, but I don't like have it like in order in my head. I'm very like analytical and I like to like write things down and have it in my head. But I'm not like a off the top of my head person. I'm more of a let me think about it and write it down and then express my true thoughts, because my true thoughts are a lot more detailed and more straight to the point than my off the head thoughts.
So I'm just going to say, go ahead and write that down for the future, because you probably will get asked that in some variation. In that way, you can have your spill ready. But I get it. It's sometimes hard to talk about because you want to be able to, speak intelligently on it and be able to give a thoughtful response. So I totally get that.
Yes.
And I
I like
admire
that.
it too. As an announcer in the space, I don't see a lot of Black announcers. I think there's one other young lady who does maybe run road racing. And then this year, I worked with another young lady in the cycling space who is getting into announcing. And so it is different when you see people and how they respond to you and your energy, because it's just a different vibe and you bring something very different. So I totally, totally get that. What's next for Latifah? What can we expect this year? Do you want to share with us your races so that people want to track you? Because I know if you're doing any iron distance races or 70.3s, we can track you. So do you have any races or that you can share with us?
Yes, I actually have a race this weekend. That'll be Clash Miami. And then April, I'm doing St. Anthony. I'm going to be racing the elite amateur category. And that's in April 27th. And then I have Gulf Coast 70.3, May 10th, I think it is. And I'm going to Sprint and Olympic distance nationals is up for grabs. We don't know yet. That's not official. But after that, I will be doing Augusta, 70.3 Augusta. And I'm going to World Championship this year in Marbella, Spain, 70.3 World Championship. So that is pretty much my racing schedule for this year.
That's a full year. And now that you are racing more, your son is probably 4.
He's 5 now.
5? 2021
Just turned 5, January.
5.
Yeah.
Me and my math.
It's
So
okay.
that's right, because 2020 is when you would have had him, and then the year later was 2021. Aha, okay. Back on track here.
All right.
Now that your son is 5 and you're training way more than you did when you initially had him, how are you able to balance that?
Let me tell you, it's the hardest thing to do. That part is the hardest part because now that he is 5, there's a lot of time that I want to spend with him. So I'm constantly trying to figure it out every day on how I can get bits of time with him throughout the day. Although I have him in the afternoon and, we have our dinner, we sit up all night, we do, things like that. In the daytime, we're kind of attached. I have a really strong attachment to him. He has a really strong attachment to me. So I hate to leave for 2 hours. I hate to leave. I hate leaving home. I do a lot of indoor training because I don't want to leave home. So it's one of the hardest things. It's something that I really go back and forth about. Like it's if I was to ever stop triathlon, it would be because of my son. Because I want to spend more time with my son and I don't want to have someone else watching him. Although my mom watches him, I'm okay, but it's a big part. It's one of the things that pulls me away. Like that's one of the things that was my son. So it's hard to do it with my son calling me, or I'm worried about him all the time. I'm on the pool deck. I'm checking my phone like constantly. Like, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? Like, it's hard. Put it like that. If you don't have a strong attachment to your child, then it's okay. Like you don't think about it as much. But I do. I mean, I was raised that way. My mom was like that with me. I have a strong bond with my mom. So I have that with my son, but I'm doing a different lifestyle than my mom ever did. And it's really hard, but I'm growing and I'm doing it. So it's doable. Like that's what I can say about that. It's doable to the moms out there. And I have one of the strongest attachments there are. So it's doable. It's hard, but you can do it.
Latifah, thank you so much. We're going to move into rapid fire. But I do appreciate hearing your story and seeing how you are taking a very methodical and wise approach to becoming a professional triathlete, although you've had opportunities to get your pro card. And I admire that so much because sometimes taking that step back can help to propel you so much further forward and, gives you that desire even more. And so we support you and keep putting out good content and letting us join you on your journey to becoming pro in this year of just having a good year, good race year.
Same to you.
Thank you. So with that said, rapid fire.
I don't even know what that is. Are you going to tell me?
Where I ask you questions really quickly and you just have to give me a quick response.
Oh,
I know you've already said you like to be thoughtful, but that has to go out the door for this.
I'm sweating now. I'm scared.
You shouldn't be too hard. All right.
Okay.
First question. We'll start with easy things.
Yeah, please.
Favorite music artist?
Rihanna.
Okay. Favorite song? Or let's just say favorite song of the week. What song has it been in constant rotation this past week?
This week? Okay, Willow Smith, Why Don't You Cry?
Okay.
Or Wait a Minute. How about Willow Smith, Wait a Minute? That's my favorite. There we go. Leave it there.
Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. Favorite leg of the race?
Bike.
go-to workout and what does it look like?
Easy 1 hour jog.
Okay. Audiobook, podcast, music, or silence when you train?
One more time, that one got a little broken up.
Okay. Audiobook, podcast, music, or silence when you train?
Music.
How do you decompress?
Creating. Yeah, creating.
Okay. Foam roller or a massage gun or compression boots?
Compression boots.
Favorite pre-race breakfast?
Oats.
Favorite post-race meal?
Pizza.
I don't know. We don't let people go without asking this question. So I don't know if you'll be able to answer it. Do you pee on the bike or get off and take a proper pee break?
On the bike. I can't get off. I actually have to get off I have to get off when I pee though. Like I have to like maneuver, kind of stand to the side. You know what? Don't ask me that. I'm done. That's it. I'm going too far, man.
All you had to do was say yes or no, pee on the bike or not. You going into I gotta stand up, lean to the side, bend back. Like that's
my God. I hope if someone likes me from watching this and then watches that and they don't like me no more, please like me again.
Oh, that's what makes people like you more, is being honest. Like this question, I don't even know how this question started. Maybe Maria and I were like talking about something like, we should ask if you pee on the bike or get off and take a proper pee break. And it is just taken off. So
actually illegal, right? We're not supposed to pee on the bike.
Yeah, you can. It's your bike.
I thought I read something where they were like, don't pee on the bike. I guess because if someone's behind you, it can kind of go that way.
You know, as many people pee on the bike. If you see water coming your way, move.
True. You'll be drafted anyway, right?
Move. But yeah, okay. And my final thing, because you're a musician, would you leave us with a song that you wrote or that you wouldn't mind singing for us?
No.
Like quickly, give us a line or two.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm camera shy. Not
I
that.
don't believe that.
I need auto tune. You don't have any auto tune.
I do not have auto tune. Well, I tried to get a song out of you. I tried, y'all. I tried.
I appreciate it. Trust me. I'm gonna y'all can go to my page and look at some of my auto tune.
Well, I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Latifah Lowery, known as TriFoxx on social media. Be sure to go and like and follow her page, and be sure to track her. Like, she's doing some amazing things out here in the tri space, and I'm really grateful that she has come to the podcast, and we are being able to, this has probably been about a year or so in the making. And so I finally was like, hey, can you come on? Is this going to work out? So I am so grateful to have you.
Thank
you. I look forward to continuing to see you soar in this space. We have the saying on Try Beginner's Luck: whenever you try, you always win. That's real. I think you heard Latifah say it here. Like, she was like, I'm just going to try it. And then I'm just going to try it. Keep trying no matter what the outcome is, because you never know when it's going to be that moment that you really, it all clicks for you. So you might have done that race and it might not have gone well for you. Okay, so what? Do it again. It may not go well for you then. Okay, so what? Do it again. Keep trying, because the more you try, you are being changed in the process. And really, it's about the process that's changing you. So stick in it, stay in the game. Tri season is about to start. We are ending this is the end of March. So you're going to start to see these races roll out. Like Latifah said, this weekend in Miami, and next weekend in St. Anthony's, and then for the Ironman distance, I think the official races might be Oceanside. So it's about to be tri season, and we don't know what's going to happen at our races, but we definitely know for sure when we try, we will win. Be sure to follow us at Try Beginner's Luck on all the social media platforms. Be sure to, or remember to, view either on your favorite podcast platform, that's Spotify, Apple, and or YouTube. We're even on Audible. We're out there for you. We appreciate you for listening. And leave us a review if you can. If you have questions, be sure to slide into our emails, which is in the show notes. With that said, my name is Mashonda Miles, also known as Mashonda Shines on social media. You can follow me there too. But for right now, we are out. Peace. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this episode. We need your help so we can continue to try at TBL. So for more information on where you can find and subscribe to this podcast, visit www.trybeginnersluck.com. And don't forget, whenever you try Beginner's Luck, you always win.